Welcome back to Lady J Live, and in the hot seat this time is my man Dizaster, the hardest working man in the game. Welcome to the show.
Thank you for having me on the show, and it's a pleasure to be here. Thank you for inviting me out for the first show.
Absolutely. This is another one of the artists that have been supporting me and still in my corner, so it's just a pleasure to have you here. The number that you just performed, Brothers Killing Brothers, is that the name of it?
Yes.
Okay. Tell me about that cut.
Okay, that's actually off of my first album called DIZAZTA Strikes, and I wrote that song after a buddy of mine that got killed. Actually, his name is Mars, and he had got killed, and I'd spent maybe 6 days in the cemetery writing the song, and the 8th day I actually went to the studio and put it down, and that's what I came up with. I had the feelings of just mixed emotions, confusion, you know, just trying to express myself.
Yeah. So are most of your songs about life experiences?
Yeah.
They are. Tell us a little bit about DIZAZTA Area Music. Explain your philosophy behind the name.
Okay, DIZAZTA Area Music was founded in '99. And the whole concept behind DIZAZTA Area Music is I wanted to do something different. I started off as an artist, trying to get signed like, you know, a majority of the people do, and then I ended up not getting signed, which was actually a blessing for the time, because it gave me a chance to actually have control, to open my own label, and also to give back. And that's what DIZAZTA Area Music does. A percentage of the proceeds of every album goes to disasters that's going on, as far like when Katrina went on, and then disasters in the neighborhood as far as like homelessness, teenage pregnancies. I mean, just different things that I consider a disaster. So that's where the name DIZAZTA Area Music came from.
Okay, so it's kind of like you're tearing down the disastrous things in life and you're rebuilding. Okay, all right. So what inspired you to be called Dizaster or DIZAZTA?
DIZAZTA.
DIZAZTA.
Exactly. It's spelled different because it is different. The inspiration behind disaster is like nobody would really call themselves disaster. You know, it's like whenever you hear disaster, you think of something disastrous or something like
something negative.
Right.
Yeah.
And I get that a lot, but then I have to explain to them it's spelled different because it is different.
Okay, so it is not disaster in its normal traditional sense.
Right. It's disaster.
Okay. Well, let's talk about your first CD, DIZAZTA Strikes.
Okay. DIZAZTA Strikes actually was a project that I put together over maybe 2 years, and it was just I wanted to hit the world at an angle, because that was the first song or the first album under my label DIZAZTA Area Music. So I had full control to do anything I wanted to do, and I wanted to actually be like a shadow. I wanted to be in the dark. So if you actually see the CD, you can't really make my face out on any of the pictures, because I didn't want no one to know who DIZAZTA was.
I see.
Into my first concert, so that was like, you know. But I was gonna have all the music on the radio, this and that, and everybody like, who's DIZAZTA? You know, he got some nice stuff, but nobody ever seen his face.
I see.
So.
Well, I had the CD cover when I announced him initially, but I don't have it now. So it's floating around here. So if someone has it, I hope you enjoy it, because it is a good CD. Now, is there a correlation between DIZAZTA Strikes and your new CD, The Problem and the Answer?
Yeah, actually, if you go back to DIZAZTA Strikes, you'll see a lot of problems and answers, but I didn't put it in that particular format on DIZAZTA Strikes because I was striking. I was like being a king cobra, like, you know, my first strike, I'm coming out the sky, buildings ripping, birds and stuff all over the place flying. That's the album cover, and I just wanted to let the world know that I was coming, and I was actually coming as a force as opposed to as a person. I was coming as a force from the sky. And then the second album, I just wanted to go ahead and reveal myself so that everybody know who to fear.
Okay. That's cool. And, you know, you can check him out. If you want to see what DIZAZTA looks like for yourself outside of here, but if you want to see his album cover, it is on cdbaby.com, towerrecords.com, and it's on my MySpace, Lady J Live. So I'm featuring the artists that are on the show and also that will be performing. So you can find him there. Now, I am always concerned when it comes to hip-hop about the lyrical message. And since they are totally destroying what used to be really wholesome hip-hop music, What do you want people to walk away with after listening to your songs?
I want people, I mean, not just young, old, I want all ages across the board, you know, because see, right now, hip-hop is portrayed negatively. It's all kinds of stereotypes being, you know, overexposed. It's people not getting deals because they're not doing the booty shaking this or the killing this or that, you know. So it's a lot of stuff that make a good artist turn bad because he's trying to get a deal so bad, and this is what they're looking for.
Right.
You know, they don't have any creative control, so they'll go ahead and pretty much sell their soul a little bit because they're trying to get that first deal.
That's right.
You know, so I want people to hear the music and know that you can do anything you want. Just go ahead and just don't be afraid to go independent. It's actually the best thing going.
That's absolutely true. Now, you have your label. Now, are there any artists that you're working with right now?
Yeah, actually, we're working on Jackpot's Strike It Rich album. V-Love has a gospel album. We're working on with some jazz artists. The Problem and Answers, that's just volume 1. I have 5 volumes to that. And because actually it was going to be the world's first quadruple CD, but by me being a new independent artist, you know, having 60 songs and 4 discs, it was kind of hard to price it. You know, I was actually trying to figure out how to, you know, price it being a new artist. 50 cents over here for $15.99. Dizasta's first album, quadruple, $60. You know, it was like, it was going to be kind of hard to really do it like that.
Understand.
So I did it in volumes. So it's still the same quadruple CD, but I'm adding an extra CD.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. It looks like someone by the name of S. Cunningham's is trying to IM me, and she wants to know if there's a store in her area. She doesn't really say where she's from, but there are how many stores?
Oh yeah. I mean, unless she live on the moon, she can get Disaster Strikes or The Problem Answer. It's in 2,400 stores nationwide.
Okay.
Like Jay said, you can go online. You can get it on cdbaby.com. It's cdbaby.com/disaster2 or just Disaster. Disaster Strikes will be under Disaster, and Disaster 2 will be The Problem and Answers.
That's right, and that's DIZAZTA.
Or you can go to Disaster Area Music and create your own album.
That's right. You can select all the songs that you want and compile whatever you want for your own CD. And before we move on, let's talk about Disaster Area Music. That's an entity within itself. I mean, you're doing some great things with that by way of helping out disasters. Talk about that for a second.
Okay, like when the Katrina situation happened, I mean, it was devastating to everybody. And me and my business partner, Mo, had put some plans and some blueprints together, and we had got a couple apartment buildings and moved down some families from the flood and try to like reconstruct people's lives and try to get people back on the right track. And that was just a few things, you know, that we can help out. I mean, because we're not, of course, not as big as your major labels yet, but we were just trying to put, you know, what we can, you know, on the pot and see how it boils. But it actually helped out a lot of families, and a lot of people out there appreciated it, got back on their feet. They moved out here to California. So sometimes some disasters end up being a blessing in disguise.
Okay. Someone wants to know about your clothes. They're saying that you used to have a clothing line. What happened? What happened to your clothing line?
Actually, I still have it. It's called Yachty Clothing. All of the disaster, everything you see me on with wearing hats and cufflinks and all that is Yachty Clothing, but it's just now Disaster Wear by Yachty.
Okay, now let's just take a moment, okay, if you will. Check out the cufflinks, okay? Just to give you an idea of what we're dealing with here. Disaster striking, okay? And let's get, you know.
Y'all haven't seen nothing yet.
Yeah, okay. Well, just so you know, people IM me, and my people respond with the messages that I'm sharing with you, and they're back there answering the IM, so it's not like it's a bogus setup or anything. People are sending IMs, and they're getting a quick response from my people, so thank you, people. Okay, it's about time for you to go back on the stage. He's going to do a cut from his second CD called The Problem and the Answer. But before you go, let me ask you real quick, and we're going to get you on the stage to do that number. Okay. Tell me about The Problem and the Answer. Is there actually problems on that, and then the corresponding answers in some of the songs there?
Well, I start off each CD with 10 problems and 10 answers, and then I put a bonus track on there. So it's actually 21 songs on the Problem Answer Volume 1. So the last song, the 21st song, will be a preview of Volume 2, and I do that on each volume. But it's not lined up to where Problem 1 is answered by Problem 2, because like I said, it's a quadruple CD with a bonus. So the 5th one will be everything all coincide, this problem, that problem, this problem.
Okay, excellent. I had an amazing time with you tonight.
Oh, it's always a pleasure.
Yeah, you're going to go back on stage. He's going to perform a cut from the problem and the answer. Go to cdbaby.com, towerrecords.com. Buy it online or go to your record store in your neighborhood and get it. It's there waiting for you. Disaster will be back right after this message.
Peace. I love y'all.